Mandan Public School District. All right, next item on the agenda is approval of the agenda. Any changes? Dr. Bitts looks like you're
Yeah,
ready to say
if I
something.
could do letter F under Administrator's Report, I'd like to give an update on the near site clinic.
All right, we'll add that. Anything else? Seeing nothing else, what are the wishes of the board? The agenda? Okay, let's make sure we're on the same page.
I second.
We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Seeing and hearing none, please call roll.
Yes.
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 Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Moving on, public communications. Anybody in the audience wish to address the board tonight? Anybody wish to address the board? Seeing everybody in the audience shaking their head no, we'll move on. Administrator's report. First item on the administrator's report is an update on the Mandan High School construction. Mr. Legacy.
Yeah, good evening, School Board. Just a quick update on construction for you. I'll start with the CTE area. Our shops, we are currently moving into the welding shop right now. Welders are set, the welding booths, plasma cutters are all in place. We are waiting for gas lines to get run. Hoping that gets done this week so we can use that shop properly next week. So that's the plan there. Construction trades shop, we are ready to start moving equipment into that shop tomorrow. That should be a little quicker process than the welding because we don't have quite the specialty equipment with gas lines that we have to worry about. So hopefully we're in there next week as well. That leaves 3 shops in the area. As soon as we get our contractors out of welding and construction trades, they will prioritize those other 3 shops and get moving on those. I don't think they'll take as long as the 2 specialties, and hopefully we're in there within the next 3 weeks to a month. That's the goal. In the CT area, the bathroom is open, staff room is open, all the classrooms are being used right now, so we're getting there. The auditorium, no new update there, early 2025. As soon as we get out of the CT area fully and the gym fully, we will concentrate on the auditorium. When we get more information, we'll let you know. The main gym, the wood floor is complete. It looks really, really nice. I'd love to take each of you up there and kind of show that off. I'm hoping you can be there on the November 13th for open house because it's going to be a very, very special gymnasium. It needs to sit and cure this week. So next week, starting Monday, we'll have contractors back in, finishing up scoreboard, some of the electrical work, making sure the hoops are all in the right place. And then November 18th, the bleachers will start showing up for install. So we are on track for that first game on December 6th to have a functioning gymnasium. So, and then lots of other work being done throughout the building. Northwest is working on punch list items through our academic wings and anywhere else that they can get into. So,
Okay.
any questions?
Did they get a lot of stuff done over the break when we took the extra days off?
They did, especially in the commons area. There was a lot of column wraps that we needed lifts to work overhead. Those are done. It was just items that could not be done with students in the building safely. So they took that time and really got a lot of that work done. Yep.
Good deal. I know I drove by a couple times, even on the weekend. There was people there working, so.
Yep.
So with the gym, I know you guys threw out before Thanksgiving at one point. Do you think they'll be that time or is it the week after?
It's going to be really close. It depends on how quick those bleachers get installed. I know they want to get them done as quick as possible, but it's 2,300 seats, so I think we're probably a week to 2 weeks for full install. And I know we have Northwest Contracting is dedicating guys to help out the bleacher install crew. I don't know that we'll see Thanksgiving week, but that week after, pretty confident.
All right. Any other questions, comments? Thank you. Thanks for shepherding this stuff along.
Yeah.
Appreciate it. Mandan Public Schools Transportation Contract. Mr. Legacy?
Yeah, this is just a quick update. Our contract with Harlow's expires on June 30th of this year. State Century Code allows us to only be in a contract for a maximum of 7 years, so we've hit that point with Harlow's. We do need to rebid our contract. Working on our bid documents right now, hoping to get that out by Thanksgiving. We are hoping we have a competitive bid process. In the past, Harlow's has been the only bidder. We are trying to at least get one more contractor interested to bid. And I'll just keep you informed as we go through that process.
All right. Any questions on that one? Imagine for this one, just like anybody, it's staffing is the issue, right?
It's staffing. One of the largest contractors in the country. I've talked with them a couple times. They assess the industry for hiring workers. We are rated a 10 out of 10 to finding drivers as the most difficult area. It's tough.
Everybody's looking for CDL around here.
Yes.
All right. Any further questions? If not, we'll move on to 2025-2026 school calendar.
Correct. We're in that time of year where we start adopting our calendar for next fall. It seems like we just started the school year, but we're already looking at next year. I have two options in front of you. Generally, our process for the new members is we come up with a couple of options, and then we put them out to all of our families and parents to vote on them. And I bring the results back to you, and you approve next year's calendar once that happens. I do try to get input from our staff. I had 3 listening sessions around the district last week. Minimal input, but did hear a few things. The calendars, and we have new board members, so this may have changed, but back in 2014, our board told me we always graduate 2 o'clock the Sunday Memorial Day weekend. We want to do that. People make plans on that. So we start building our calendar back from that. Memorial Day this year is May 20. I'm going to look before I just get May 25th. So that means we graduate on May 24th, which means the last day we can have school is Friday, May 22nd, which is a really early ending. When you try to get 175 school days and 6 teacher work day or teacher professional development days in there, it gets difficult. And you don't want to start too early in August. Basically, both calendars that we came up with after our listening sessions, this changed a little bit from what I first drew up. They start on August 20th and they end on May 22nd. One is a little longer Christmas break, and the other has more breaks throughout the year. We don't have to put these 2 out. If you'd like to make some changes, we certainly could. And then I'd like to put a couple calendars out and let people vote on them and get their thought. Option number 1 is almost identical to what Bismarck is going to do next year, if that makes a difference at all.
Any questions?
I have a question. Do either the calendars, will the high school, their first semester end in December?
That's up to the high school and middle school. I don't. We tried. The more days they have in the first semester, the easier that is to happen. So that would option 1. They go all the way until it's a shorter Christmas break. There's more days. I think that if you want that to happen, option 1 would be the best bet to do that. But Mr. Andreessen and his staff and Mrs. Tomlinson and her staff will make that decision. I know with dual credit courses, they really like to do that. And I think the kids like to be done at Christmas too. It gives them the break without anything to work on.
And if it doesn't end before the break, they come back for 1 week of.
Correct. And we've been doing that for a number of years. This year, because of our very late start with construction, we are ending in January again. I think when I visit with high school teachers, Mr. Andreessen, I know they all prefer being done before Christmas. And I think that's the goal.
Thank you.
All right. Anybody else? Dr. Pitts, I just got a question. August 15th isn't green on here. Is that just a teacher work day that they can work in their own room? Is that a teacher day they don't have to show up?
You know, when you asked for input, they said it'd be nice to have one last long weekend.
Oh,
so
okay.
That's when you get input from staff, and that's one of the things they said. And sure, we can do that.
Okay, so that's a day off then? And it
Yes,
isn't
it's a
they're
day-
actually
it's a
working.
day they
I
don't-
was just curious. It seemed funny when they have that day, but it makes sense what they're asking for.
Yeah, yeah,
I understand where you're at with that.
yeah. That's not the way I drew it up right away, but I listened.
Yep. Yeah. Any other questions? Consensus of the board is to let administration send it out and get the votes and see where we are.
Certainly. And I'll try to get that, we'll wait until this election, and the real election is over, and maybe get it out later November, early December.
So, yeah, go ahead.
Just when you do send that out, I think that explanation of the timing, just bulleted explanation of the difference between these two, because it is hard when you look at them to see exactly what the difference is. And
Sure.
I'm really good about explaining things.
I maybe can put a couple of sentences on each.
I think it's important, because you look at them, sometimes you can't see the differentiation. Explaining that long weekend, explaining the shorter, and the semester break. I think that that's a real factor for people.
Sure, I will do that.
Any other things? Okay, get some direction there.
I do.
All right, moving on then. Mandan High School open house on November 13th, 4 p.m. to 6 p.m. Dr. Bitts.
Yeah, excited to finally show our community the school. It's been overdue. It's been a long process. We're still not 100% complete, but I think we're ready to invite our public in to see the building. November 13th, 4 o'clock. I think we're going to have a very short program, maybe 10, 12 minutes long. We're going to cut a ribbon, and then we will offer the community the opportunity to have a tour of our building. And we're working on maybe having some self-guided, like if they just want to walk around, having some student council, students throughout the building in different areas with, I don't say fact sheets, but information that if they say, yeah, this is the gym, this is how many it'll seat, and they'll be able to give them information. And I think it's going to be a nice night, and we hope a lot of people are able to attend.
And Dr. Bitts and I just talk briefly about inside or outside, and we kind of weather dependent, if that's okay with everybody, if we do it inside or outside in the front there.
Yeah, I mean, if we have a nice sunny 50-degree day with no wind, I think we'll probably do the ceremony outside in our courtyard. If it gets much colder than that, we'll probably bring them inside and do it in the commons. I just want to say that the auditorium is not ready, and it won't be ready then. When we open the auditorium, April, May, whatever that first event is, we'll do a nice celebration for that as well, and show that off to our community. The first game in our new gym is going to be Friday the 6th of December, and I know we're planning a special night there to do some nice things to celebrate the opening of our gym as well.
Yeah, on that night there, you're thinking about allowing access into the auditorium and the gym, even though they probably won't be 100% complete, but so everybody can see what they look like. Right?
I think that's the goal. I'm not sure about the auditorium yet. We got to see what we can do, but I'm hoping that we can do something, yes.
Okay. All right. Any other questions? Seeing none, let's move on then to the legislative roundtable on November 19th at 6:30 p.m.
Correct.
Yes.
We've invited the Bismarck Mandan legislators to a roundtable, I guess, to talk about education issues that can come up that will come up in the 2025 session. Gives them an opportunity to ask questions of us on our positions. Gives us an opportunity to share our thoughts on a few different things. You're all certainly invited to attend that. I'd kind of like to get a count of how many of you are planning to attend, just so that we can. But it should be a nice night, I hope.
This is joint with Bismarck.
Correct. The Bismarck School Board has been invited. All their legislators have been invited. Haven't heard from all of them. We asked for RSVPs, but I think we got 12 or 13 legislators said they're coming. Had a few that have conflicts that night and can't attend. But
So how do you want us to let you know who's coming?
just when we're done, you can let me know or shoot me a text or email and let me know. Just so we grab whatever space we're in, we fit.
This is going to be at the high school, right?
Yeah, it'll be they want to see the new high school, a couple of them, so, and we're excited to show them, so.
I always used the gym in the old high school. Just kidding. Let's bring them there and show it off so they can see, because they got
Absolutely.
money invested in it too.
And then, as long as we're talking, Mr. Wolf, if I may.
Yeah.
We do have a regular school board meeting November 18th. With you guys being there on the 13th and the 19th or invited, I'm not sure we need to have that meeting on the 18th. I'm not sure. Maybe we want to keep it on the calendar, and maybe you and I can talk that week before and decide if there's any pressing issues. But I never want to tell you don't need to meet, but
Is everybody okay with that? If we don't have anything pressing for the agenda, we'll just cancel that meeting, but we'll do it probably a few days, Thursday, Friday of the week before in relation to it, just in case something comes up that we want to have and talk about at that point. That'll be good?
I think we'd want to give Dakota media access, an opportunity so that they can make adjustments on their schedule too.
Okay. We'll find out from them what they need in regard to it.
Okay.
That'll be good. Next item on the agenda is the near-site clinic update.
Yeah, I have a handout in front of you that they gave to us. We are looking at we just actually met the nurse practitioner who's going to be in charge of the clinic today. Visited with her. We're looking at January 6th. Was that the day? Monday, January 6th will be the first day that'll be open. So we're excited to open that up. I think it's going to be a great benefit for our staff.
That'll be good. I think there's some opportunity there to provide some services for our staff, make it a little more affordable on some things.
Yeah, our high deductible health plan has saved us some money, and I think this is a nice way for us to give something back to our employees.
Any other questions on that one? It's exciting to see some of these things coming to fruition here. All right, we'll move on to the consent agenda. On the consent agenda tonight, review and consider approval of previous board minutes from October 21st, 2024. Review and consider approval of September 2024 bills, revenues, and expenditures. Accept the policy and personnel committee minutes from September 30th, 2024. Accept the facility and finance committee minutes from October 28th, 2024. Review and consider a second and final reading of the following policies: ABDA, website accessibility of people with disabilities; ABDA BR1, website accessibility complaints; ABDAE2, website accessibility statement; FDD, education of a pregnant and parenting student; JCDAE, weapons; IDDF, education of special education students; IGA-E, section 504, eligibility forms. What are the wishes of the board?
I would move that we approve the consent agenda.
All right, we have a motion. We have a second?
Second.
And we have a second. Please call roll.
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Moving on, we have no unfinished business, so we'll go right to new business. The first item on new business is review and consider approval of a request for proposal of a district facility plan. Mr. Legacy.
Yes, included in your packet is our request for qualifications for a district facility plan. What we're looking for is really explained in page 2 under our scope of services. Looking for an architectural firm to come out and evaluate all of our buildings, to give us a full assessment of not just the building, but the site and the components within, HVAC, electrical, technology, all of those high-cost replacement items, and to really help us build out a replacement strategy over the next 10 years for those items that may need it. We have done this in the past. I believe it was 2014 with JLG Architectural Group. They created one of these for us. It was very positive. We made some really good improvements to our schools with this plan. And honestly, with the high school being built, we've gotten away from it. So now that we have the high school up and running, we really need to get back and really plan out our future strategy for using our building fund dollars to make sure we're doing preventative maintenance items. And I unfortunately put an old version in the board packet, so just a couple of quick updates for you. Under the firm requirements on page 3, we are requesting this to be completed by April 30th of 24, depending on whether that could change a little bit, but I've talked to a couple of firms that said that shouldn't be an issue of completing it by then. And then on page 4, under submittal requirements, you can see the full timeline of this process. We would start advertising on Friday. It has to be advertised for 3 weeks. Proposals will be due December 3rd. We'll interview that following week and have a firm brought to you by our December board meeting is the plan. So,
Right.
are there any questions?
The only other thing, a couple of us sit on the facility and finance, they looked at this and they thought it would be a good thing to do in relation to it too. So that was reviewed in the subcommittee in relation to it, thinking it'll be a good thing. If you haven't been here for a few years in relation to, we used this in the past really to help us to decide what roof we're going to replace, when we're going to do that, kind of lay out what our expenditures are going to be around maintenance, and it really comes in handy. The facility and finance really use this probably the most of anybody in relation to it, and then it comes to the board with recommendations and things like that. So it is handy, and it needs to be done. I mean, yeah, we have a lot of individuals on our staff that could do some of this, but these guys are the experts in it, and they get in and they tear into it. So it's in my opinion, it's a good thing to do, and it's worth, I think, the dollars that we spend on this, because it probably saves us money in the long run. So just to tell you where I'm coming from in relation to it. So I sit on that committee, that subcommittee.
So when you did this in the past, how many people kind of applied for this, or companies?
I want to say we probably had 4. I was going to say 4. I know there were, I want to say 4 local firms. I would expect we'll get 5 or 6 this time. There's a few new companies locally.
It'll be competitive.
Yes.
What is the approximate ballpark cost of this?
I'm estimating about $75,000. I believe the JLG study was $50,000 when we did it. However, we won't include the high school or Lakewood Elementary into this plan. They'll be noted, but really anything at the high school is going to be warranty work. The same thing with Lakewood at this point. I sure hope we're not planning any capital maintenance of those buildings for quite some time. So I think 75 is a real good estimate.
Any other questions? What are the wishes of the board on this one?
I'd make the motion to approve the request for the district facility plan.
All right, we have a motion, we have a second?
I'll second.
We have a second. Any further discussion? Seeing and hearing none, please call roll.
Yes.
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 Yes. Next item on the agenda, review and consider approval of the 2025 strategic plan. Dr. Rederath,
Yes, thank you.
going to let you talk tonight.
All right. It's okay. They got it handled. I'm good. The strategic plan is in your board packet. I had Janelle update it. She does a really nice job of making things look pretty. But a few of the things I want to touch on in it, as you go through it, I just think a few notable things. You know, if you look at our demographics page, it was not that long ago that we were 90% Caucasian in our demographic makeup for Mandan Public School. Now we are 75%. It really just shows the diversity that's come into our school district over the last about 5 years and our growth, which is interesting and kind of exciting to see our demographics shift a little bit. As you'll see, we have 4 different areas of goals in our strategic plan, and they really set around our committees: student achievement, facilities and finance, and policy and personnel. And some of the really nice things you'll notice in our student achievement, if we're hitting a lot of our goals and our objectives, we have an 85% graduation rate this last year. That's the highest of the top 10 biggest schools in North Dakota. So that's something to be really proud of with us. Another one that I wanted to highlight, I know we've talked about this in the past, it was not that long ago that we were below 20% in graduation rate for our Native American students, and this past year we were at 76%. So really trending in a positive and strong direction, and there's many reasons for that. Our EL growth has also been really solid. So really exciting things. One of my big projects for this year is to ask each subcommittee now to dive into some of these goals. It's been a while since we've updated our specific goals, and are these still what we want to be measuring? Are they still relevant? With the idea that we can go into next year with possibly some revised goals for this plan. So what we're presenting for you this year is the updated data around the goals we've had, and really tasking our committees to look at their areas and decide, is this what we want to continue to do in these areas, or are there different things? I'll give you an example. Student Achievements talked a lot about how do we increase parent understanding and engagement in what students are doing academically, and that might potentially be a direction we go for one of the goals in the coming year. So with that, I will answer any questions if anybody has any questions on the 2025 strategic plan.
Any questions? Nice job. It's a nice document.
Yeah, it reads, it's a nice snapshot of our district for sure.
Really did a nice job putting it together with all the data.
Thank you.
Lays it out there. No questions? What are the wishes of the board on this one?
I would move to accept the 2025, 2026 strategic plan.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Questions, comments, concerns? Seeing and hearing none, please call roll.
Yes.
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 Yes. Next item on the agenda is review and consider approval of the superintendent's formative evaluation. Before the meeting here, Mr. Horn and myself met with the superintendent. We went over the evaluation. Thanks you all for getting in your comments and concerns. Everything come back really well in relation to it. Pretty much satisfactory for all the different pieces on it, except for one which was not observed in relation to it. So that was an option. If you hadn't observed it, you could use that one. Under the comments, pretty much he continues to do an excellent job, overseeing. Mike has done a fine job. Anything that he'd like him to stop, there was nothing identified there, which is good. And under comments, everybody had really good comments. And the one comment that struck out to me in regard to it, and thank you for who put it in here, is Mike is like a duck. Smooth and calm above water, paddling hard under the surface. And if you know Mike, that is really a true statement. It's a perfect thing, so thank you for that. You see him when things are going on, he's smooth and calm, but he's really trying to figure out and get things done in relation to it. He does a very nice job for us. Very nice job. So anybody else want to add any comments for it in regard to that? Or Dr. Bitts, anything you want to say in relation to it? But you got a very, very nice complimentary evaluation here. So thank you.
No, I just thank you. You guys are a great board to work with, and I appreciate your support and the feedback, and thank you.
All right. Thank you. So what are the wishes of the board under the superintendent formative evaluation?
I would move that we approve Dr. Bitz's formative evaluation.
We have a motion. We have a second.
A second.
And we have a second. Any further discussion? Please call roll.
Yes.
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 Yes. Thank you very much, Dr. Bitts. Thank you for the hard work you do.
Thank you.
All right, we'll move on then. The last item on the agenda, review and consider approval of the open enrollment application seeking a deadline waiver. Dr.
Correct,
Bitts.
and you should have an application from a family. This is a Mandan family that's relocating to Bismarck. They would like their kids to continue to attend school in Mandan. It would be our recommendation that you approve the application.
All right, thank you. What are the wishes?
I'd move to approve the application.
All right, we have a motion. We have a second.
Second.
And we have multiple seconds. Any further discussion? Like I always say, it's great to see when our students move out of town and they still want to stay here. That's a sign for the services they're getting in Mandan. Please call roll.
Yes.
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 Yes. Next item on the agenda is future meeting dates. November 13th, Mandan High School open house, 4 o'clock at the high school. November 18th, regular school board, 5:30 p.m. City Hall. We'll make a decision probably that week before that if we're going to have that meeting or not, depending upon if we need it. I'm not a believer in having meetings just to come to meetings. November 19th, legislative roundtable, 6:30 p.m., Mandan High School. Please let Dr. Bitts know if you're going to be there for that so we can have everything prepared. December 2nd, policy and personnel, 5 p.m. at the Brave Center. December 16th, regular school board meeting, 5:30 p.m., City Hall. Any other board meetings that anybody should be aware of? We have no CTE one coming up? Okay, just
Nope.
thought I'd ask. Anything else? If not, meeting adjourned. Thanks, everybody.